What's up, people of the internet? Emma Fife here, and I am delighted to be joined today by the team from Sassy Chap Games, the developers behind the upcoming title Date Everything. And we really do truly mean everything. Please welcome today Max Middleman, Robbie Damon, and Amanda Huffer.
Hey everybody! We're so glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
We just debuted the trailer for the game. Should we watch it now?
Let's take a look.
Let's watch it.
Product not yet rated.
Love, it's a crazy, crazy game. But no matter what you do to make your dreams come true, the choice is up to you. 'Cause everything leads to love. Everything leads to love. Everything leads to love.
This is my scooter, Il Ragazzo Pazzo.
You know the gentleman goes around cleaning the house with his vacuum hose.
Name's Hoover. My friends just call me Hoov, though.
Besides, we both know you're cheating on me, so it's only fair.
I wish I was cheating on you.
But no matter how you play, it'll lead to a brand new day. You're gonna get swept away. 'Cause everything leads to love. You can date everything. Everything leads to
Basically, my big takeaway from that is I could, in fact, date the plant on this table.
Well, that's the tough part, because like every time somebody finds out about this, the first thing they ask is, "Wait, can I date my XYZ?"
Yeah.
We don't want to give away
Everything.
Yes. You can date everything. We just don't want to give away everything.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Like, you don't want to give away the extent of what everything encompasses.
It's a lot. We can give you like a base idea. Like the game takes place as we saw in the player's house.
Right.
Yeah. So we sort of conceptualized of this, what, like 7 years ago?
This was like 7, 8 years. I don't remember when the seedling of the idea started, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we people were not really like working remotely as much as they do now.
Right.
So our player character has a remote job at the beginning of the game. And we were like, is it weird that
my God.
that they have a remote job? And then the world kind of did what it did, and we're like, well, it makes sense now. That's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
How interesting that you were coming in with a, oh man, I don't know if this concept's really relatable. You want to make this kind of grounded, even though you can date the refrigerator.
We had in the pitch trailer that we used to find publishers, or find our publisher, what we ended up with, Max did a legal at the end of our pitch trailer. It was like, we had this idea, something like before it ever happened, or 2 years before.
Right. Yeah, we didn't cause the.
We promise. This is not the butterfly effect moment.
I don't know.
But,
no way to prove that.
And if you're out there and you know Max and I from our voiceover stuff, I got to introduce you to Amanda. Yes. This is Amanda Hufford, our producer and the person responsible for, in a large part, for this game coming into existence the way that it did.
Yeah. Well, because I was going to say, a lot of the time when you find these independent projects coming out, if it's not, sort of an established indie game studio or publisher, there's often a Kickstarter or something associated with it, and I didn't see anything like that. Yeah. So, Amanda, can you tell me a little about the process of how this game actually came to be funded and made?
Absolutely. It was pure insanity.
That's true.
So I met the guys through a friend of a friend.
Right.
When they were originally pitching the game
and
looking for publishers, and I had a friend who worked at one of the places they pitched, kept in touch with Ray, trying to see what was going on with the project, and eventually put myself and Ray in touch, and I thought I was just going to give them some advice. I have a lot of experience working in the indie game space, and I had a lot of connections with publishers, and I knew a lot of people in that vein. So eventually I just came onto the project and got us published. And
you did a very like teachable moment though too for anybody like who's young, who's like trying to like start in the business and work with people that they want to work with and do stuff. Is that I remember when somebody was pitching you to us, they were like, oh, we've got this person and they're great at putting indie devs in front of publishers, and we're like, okay, and we got in touch with you, and I remember you just saying like, well, what do you get out of this? And you're like, nothing, just give me a job if you get it made. and that's the way to like. I know you and I did that, like starting in our voiceover.
For sure, like a good faith, thing. And should I take it back because I feel like Ray's not here? I feel like I should.
Wait,
we should talk about Ray.
Ray Chase.
We need a cardboard cutout of Ray, right?
Yeah.
Ray Chase is in the salt mines, still working
Actively
on
working
polishing
right now.
this game.
So to take it back to the very beginning, so Robbie, Ray, and I, we're all friends. We're voice actors, and we were trying to figure out a way to stretch our creative talents. Sure. And so we sat down one day and we were kind of brainstorming, batting around a bunch of ideas, and this game was one of them. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Ray who kind of pushed us in this direction.
Oh, I remember how this went.
Or maybe it was Robbie.
Yeah, no, I did. I remember we were having a pitch session, and we, when you're trying to do something creative, like a lot of ideas go to the wayside, but some of them just stick. And I remember I had the initial idea, but it's just like a joke. Because we were talking about like, I would love to make a dating sim. Like, what will be our strength? Like, we're voice actors, we're not programmers. Let's do something narrative. And we started laughing at the idea of a dating sim. But we're like, oh, it's all been done. You can date pigeons and hot dads, and like we've done it all. And I remember just going like, what if we just date everything? And I remember we just started laughing at the concept.
Whatever, Robbie.
What an idiot idea. But then we were riffing on it all together and be like, man, that'd be really funny. And then a couple of days later, Ray called me. He's like, hey man, I think this is the one. I want to take this idea and run with it. If we do this, can I be the director, and can we take this idea and do it? So then we, like, as we always do, we went in full on. We started a company. We like did all the official stuff and made a vertical slice, started pitching. COVID hit, kind of kneecapped us. And then after that, we rebooted and brought Amanda on board and got a bunch of offers and ended up with Team 17, who's our publisher. They're awesome if you don't know them.
Fantastic.
But for us, people who've never made a game before, we were really lucky to be able to work with a publisher that's so experienced.
Sure.
And for us not having to go through all the growing pains of having to do a Kickstarter or whatever. So it's wild. Our first game is not small. It's massive. We've got an insane cast that that we've called in a lot of favors. So,
and another thing that is unusual about this, because this is in the dating sim, what would typically be more of the visual novel variety, but it looks like there is some actual like navigating of the home and interactivity.
It's a sandbox game. It's a sandbox, and the sandbox is your house.
Yeah.
So you're sort of stuck at home, and that's how you explore the space. And, and you can kind of play the game the way that you want to.
Sure, but the other aspect of it is that, in that sort of visual novel otome game tradition, typically it's not full voiceover. A lot of the time it's like you will get a, oh man, just like little like vocal things, and then you read the text box. But yours, this is completely.
It was kind of a non-negotiable for us, right? It was something that we were really passionate about doing because of where we come from.
Of course.
It wouldn't make sense to be like 3 voice actors making a game and then have a game that's not fully voiced. So we fought hard for it. I mean, it's crazy expensive. It was a massive undertaking over 5 months.
Right.
We did, we won't give too much away, but we did over 140 sessions over the course of 5 months. It's fully voiced. I think I can say this. I think our count is 70,000 voice lines, somewhere around there. 65. Might be more than that. I was underscaling.
I think it's more.
Yeah, it's wild, and we got some great talent on board that agreed to do these favors for us. Like I think you heard you said you recognized some people in the trailer.
I did, yes. I want to say I heard Laura Bailey.
You did.
Well spotted.
She's Harper R. Hamper, and she's stuck in this relationship with Dirk the Dirty Laundry.
Who's played by?
Who's played by Johnny Young Bosch. And,
Classic.
And like we were just saying, like I don't know who else could make this game because we had to do some text. We were like hitting up like BAFTA and Game Award winners and be like, will you come be a refrigerator? But I mean, it's that part of it was really fun.
Did you feel that there was sort of a natural transition for you? Because both of you have worked pretty extensively on import games, on Japanese games, which certainly, even though, yes, some of the best dating sims of our time are American or otherwise adaptations of what is traditionally a Japanese genre, but did you feel that because you had so much experience in that there was a sort of natural foothold in that world that made it a fun space to play in?
Have you ever been in a dating sim?
I've never been in a
But
dating
you've both been in games where, like, you can date you.
For sure.
Or not, as the case may be.
Yeah.
Persona 5.
Well, we knew what we wanted to see in
Right.
a video game like that, and so we took our hopes and dreams for that, and we poured it into this game.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And also, we've got a lot of diverse voices in our staff that helped create these characters. There's so many of them that like the writing was really important to us. So we had a really massive writing staff because of the sheer size of this thing. I think we're over 1 million words. It's massive.
Yeah.
So that part of it was really exciting, and the fact that we got it all voiced, I still think about it. I'm like sweating thinking about it right now.
Well, it just happened.
It did just happen. It did just happen.
Well, I was going to say, Amanda, it sounds like a lot of logistics for you if you are juggling so many characters. Had you ever worked on a game of this scale in terms of the sheer number of voice talent that was being included?
Has anybody?
No, I don't think anyone has. And let me tell you, boy, oh boy, do I have some experience now.
Yeah, I think Amanda got trial by fire for sure. Because the part of the reason why our game's unique is like the sheer volume of characters that we have, and if you're paying close attention to the trailer, you might sort of kind of figure it out. But a normal game, you might have a core cast of something like your Final Fantasy VII, right?
Yeah.
How big's the core cast? 12 people, maybe?
Sure, maybe.
Yeah. And then what? 20, 30 additional voices at most? So, we're talking about like way more than that. Yeah. Just way more than that.
Because you're talking about a lot of effectively primary characters.
Correct.
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Some stories are longer than others, but I feel like there's nobody that's like shelved as a side character.
Sure.
Every single item, it's still
All things.
I can't believe I'm saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Every single item that you interact with throughout the house will tell you a story, and they're all fleshed out. They're all full. Some are funny, some are heartfelt, some are tear jerkers, and the whole idea of this game was to present you with this unhinged concept, and then we're gonna show you the heart of it at the bottom. So
Is it isn't simply inanimate objects per se that you're dating. There's also concepts.
Wait, how did you know that? Did you pick that up from the trailer?
No, you gave
Do we have that in the trailer?
PR material. We can cut that if that's not allowed.
No, it's totally fine. It's perfect. It's funny.
It's out there now.
We're cutting nothing. No, it's well, yeah. I guess they're in the trailer. We can talk about it. Yeah. So talk about it.
Oh, I get to talk about it. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
Who's the guy that pops up our no face?
Yeah, well, can I say?
Let's not say
Can
who
I
he
say?
is. Let's just say his name.
His name? Well, his name is Doug.
And
Doug.
That's
And-
all you get.
And that's all you get to know. But let me tell you, are you gonna love Doug?
He's one of our secret characters. So we in addition to just the things around the
Sure.
house, you can date ideas, you can date concepts, you can date non-corporeal things, and that ranges from your imagination down to like. There's a lot of meta content in the game. There's a lot to discover, and I think the thing we were getting excited about a lot was like watching this go out into the world and seeing people play it. And there's some stuff we can't get into today as we release more throughout the next few months while we gear up toward release. But there's just an incredible amount of content in this game, and an incredible number of ways to interact with it.
I would say there's something for everybody
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah. If you want
Everyone.
to play it for funsies, you can. But if you want to play it to have like an emotional experience and really pursue these characters and find a way to date everything.
Sure.
You can do that.
Yeah.
And now you say that it is a sandbox game, so is it one of those scenarios wherein everything is effectively available to you right away? Do you have to make your way through certain storylines in order to access other ones?
Mostly, at the top, you have access to the majority of the game with some exception.
Yeah, one of the big exceptions would be our secret characters.
Sure.
Who take a little bit more delving into to get, but the lion's share you can interact with. Now they might not always be open
Right,
to you.
right.
You might have to do other things within the story to unlock those possibilities.
Yeah.
But overall, they're there for you.
Yeah.
There are secret areas of the house, perhaps.
Oh.
That's, I know.
Mystery.
I know they're secret. Maybe they will not be immediately accessible.
You've said too much.
I said
You've said too much.
Cut it!
No, don't cut it. Don't cut it. It's great. You're just feeding the fish. When I think about it as a whole picture, it's really, we've been working on it for so long. It's weird to conceptualize of someone who's never experiencing it for the first time, and it's exciting to let something like this out in the world. I mean, like, we were in my garage.
Yeah.
It's like
We spent many exhausting nights till like 2 a.m. talking about it, conceptualizing it,
Yeah.
figuring out what it was going to look like, and it's finally here, and it's weird to think about that from start to finish like that.
Yeah, sitting in my old garage, looking at my washer and dryer, figuring out.
What are their names going to be?
Amazing.
I was like,
yeah.
I've used that washer and dryer before.
Yeah. I was actually looking around the set and I was like going, could you date everything in here? Pretty close.
most of the things in here.
95%.
Great. I really look forward to dating licensed objects.
Okay, no low license objects. It's all parody.
Yeah. Yes.
Certainly. Well, now typically in these kind of dating sim games, the player character is very much a blank slate for you to project upon. Can you tell me a little more about, we've established that the player character, you're in the house and you have a remote job. Is there anything else to them beyond that?
I would say the player character is pretty close, as close to a cipher as
Yeah.
you can be. Yeah.
You have the opportunity to kind of play it how you want
Sure.
to. We let the player do a lot of wild things in different
Great.
directions. So you can be the kind of player that you want to be with this.
Yeah, that's pretty astute. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you can choose certain aspects about your backstory.
Okay.
But they don't overly play into the overarching
Sure.
narrative.
Right.
Without giving too much away, there is a mainline story
Okay.
that might involve some things that are not things.
Oh.
But we'll have to let that remain.
Yeah, because-
we tell many stories.
Yep.
But there is one story that we also follow.
Okay.
That you can also choose to engage.
Completely ignore.
Is that true? You can completely ignore it, can't you?
You can
Yeah.
you can
You
get
could
locked out
Okay.
of the story.
yeah.
You can get locked out.
Yeah. So there are lots
Wow.
of ways to engage the game, but you can play however you want.
Right.
Yeah. As long as you satisfy a few key things, you could play for 15 minutes
Right.
and probably get an ending.
Wow.
Or you could play for
A very long time.
30 hours. We're not sure yet, but we're still testing how long the average playthrough is.
Right.
And still only get your one playthrough.
Sure.
So yeah.
This is going to be one of those Steam games where people who are friends with me, I'm like, just ignore how many hours I put into that game.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Or I claim that I'm sharing that my fiance is playing on the same account as me, so it's like counting all the same hours.
It's funny. When we were pitching this to the actors we were bringing in, sometimes there can be a stigma around this genre, and one of our goals was to break that stigma.
Yeah.
We wanted to make it accessible for everyone. To
Sure.
like maybe someone who would. We wanted to make it so dialed into our core audience, but also make it so accessible that people who might not kind of play this game normally would be enticed to play it. So we would always say, this isn't a game you'd be embarrassed if your parents walked in on you playing. Yeah.
So no big titty anime girls.
Now nobody said that.
Hold on. We're not making promises, but we're also not making promises.
No big titty anime waifus in string bikini.
No, just kidding. That's a fair question though. Now that we're talking about it, like we're trying to walk this line of like fun and sexy and occasionally baudy, but it's never like lewd or anything like, you know what I mean?
It's like Shakespeare body.
Yeah.
It's more tasteful.
Suggestive.
Yeah.
But like for characters or for players who like things spicy, we've got those options for you. It's not every character,
sure,
but it's some of them. It's a lot of, and you can pursue that route with a lot of them if. We like to think of these characters as real things, real people, and if they're down for it, you can explore that.
Sure.
But it's not the overall object. Of the game. It's called Date Everything.
Right.
But
it's called Date Everything, not Bang Everything.
That's true. That's a way different game. That one I would maybe be embarrassed if my mom walked in.
Have we trademarked that?
Have we Date Everything?
Yeah.
Call the lawyers.
Okay.
Well, because it sounds to me like there's a broad appeal, not only across a spectrum of types of gamers, so to speak, or non-gamers, as the case may be, who just enjoy a good exploration distraction, people who don't necessarily consider themselves to be hardcore gamers, but also a breadth of like sexual experiences within it.
Yeah. Well, there's sexual and asexual experience.
Yeah, exactly.
We also give the player, we give players who are not necessarily aromantic, but possibly, let's not put labels on it, but like they can form a relationship with these characters that don't rely on sex at all.
There are different forms of romance in this game, and that's something that we were also really passionate about bringing to the table, is that there would be something to offer for everybody within the spectrum of sexuality. And I do think that we were fairly successful with that.
I do too. When we think about our endings and we think about, the way to experience all these different characters, anytime anyone in the room went, we explored it. We said, let's look at that and see how it makes everybody feel. I'll share one little tidbit is that, while we were doing QA stuff, we had somebody who was playing that was going through a really kind of a tumultuous time in their life on the publishing side. And they were talking to us, and it's like, they said, I just want you to know, I was so stressed out about everything going on in my life, I would play the game just as a comfort game.
Yeah.
And that's their day job, is to play the game. Yeah. So I think that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
that someone who does that for a living would choose to let that be their.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that by living within this kind of over the top concept, shall we say, of you can date anything and everything, it lends itself to having a wide range of representation. And when you see yourself represented and something that you can relate to, no matter how silly the sort of thing is on paper, it's actually really meaningful. You've tuned into it. Yeah. And it's really fun. I know we talked a lot about hiring a lot of our friends. Yes.
Or not really hiring, but also just kind of begging them to come be in our game. Because I think, as months go by and people see this cast list, I think it's going to destroy people's minds. Like they're going to go, that guy is playing that thing. I can't wait for those moments. But in addition to those people, I would say a good chunk of our cast are new, exciting talent from around the world. When you talk about representation, we found people. We've got a character that's a Pacific Islander that literally, we searched the world for, and she comes from a tiny little island of 1,500 people in the Pacific Island. Wow. She's a phenomenal actress.
So good.
We've got people from Newfoundland. We've got international hires. We've got all these amazing talents in addition to the people that we know just knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
I think in addition to the writing and the art and the experience of playing the game, I think we're really proud of these performances that our friends came up with and put their heart and soul into, and they all kicked butt in a short amount of time. And then the new people that have got a chance to shine. We're really excited to introduce the world to these people. Yeah.
Well, I mean, given the opportunity to do so, it feels nice to be able to do it.
It's interesting to be on the other side of it.
It is.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, without spoiling too many things, could each of you name one object in the game or concept that is dateable? That
Should we keep it to the trailer? Are we gonna go wide?
No, let's
We're
go
gonna go wide. Okay.
Somebody will go trailer, somebody will go wide.
Oh my.
You could pick yourself, but you don't have to say your character name.
Well, now I can't say.
They won't know if it's you or not. They won't know until it comes out.
That's true.
Max may or may not say the character that he's playing.
We'll think about it.
All right. Wait.
You first.
Shall I?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're just naming
an object. Yeah,
object.
that you can date.
Not the character name.
Not the character name.
Yeah, just an object.
You can date the toilet.
It's in the trailer.
It is in the
Toilet dances around in the trailer.
I think some people inadvertently in their 20s, in their way, dated the toilet.
Absolutely.
Every,
Yeah, close and personal.
Saturday, Sunday morning.
Serious and committed every weekend.
What about you? Do you have a favorite?
How could you do this to me?
Maybe something more sophisticated, perhaps.
Can I do a concept? One of our concepts.
Yes, go.
Yeah?
Okay, I'm ready.
Do it.
You ready?
Yeah.
You can date the electricity.
Oh,
that's good.
That's
good.
a really good one. And they are super hot.
Yup.
All right, I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick someone from the trailer. I like Bobby Pin a little bit. Yeah, I like Bobby Pin a little bit. Yeah, she's a little bit like spicy.
She's scrappy.
Fiery. She's
Yeah.
scrappy.
Scrappy's the right word.
I'm marrying a redhead. What can I say?
All right, Harper, calm down.
Yeah. Oh, Harper too.
Any idea when we'll get more updates on this game?
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. I'll say this. It's a short ad campaign.
Okay.
People are going to have this thing finished in their hands on all platforms. Yes. Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam very soon. Not
Very
just
soon.
coming soon.
Yeah.
Very
soon.
Scarily soon, some might say.
Keep tuned to the internet for more information on the imminent release of Date Everything. Robbie, Amanda, Max, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Date everything!
Heck yeah!